5, 4, 3, 2. Smash him up, crack that fool. Quarterback crack, yo, sack that fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up, watch that move. Went too swift, can't catch these dudes. Can't hit him, 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 hit him. Listen. It's Eagles talk, let's talk Eagles. Philly bleed green, it's from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat Shell and Dante the Dark Job. Drop the stats on them, drop the facts on them. Spur game, baby, let's get it on.
Hey fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and you guessed it, we're back because there's big news in Birdland. Yo, Doug Pederson has been released, or no, like they said, they have mutually agreed to part ways. So we are without our Super Bowl winning head coach just 4 years ago, and now he is no longer with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm ecstatic. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what I've wanted all along. At the end of the season, I wanted Doug Pederson going. I took what I can get when Jim Schwartz was announcing he wasn't coming back. I said, all right, well, that's a step in the right direction. And today, I further think it's even a greater step in the right direction, the things that's wrong with this team. And by no means do I think this is going to be an overnight fix. No, but I think that it should have started with the coaching staff, and it is starting with the coaching staff. So I'm okay with that. How do you guys feel? Big news in Birdland. Doug Pederson is out, our only Super Bowl winning head coach, and he's out. What do you say, Nichelle? How do you feel about that?
I think she
Can you
should.
hear me?
Oh, we can hear you.
I'm frozen. Can you hear
All
me?
right. I'm gonna go to Pat. Pat, how do
Yeah,
you feel about what's going on?
I think she was upset enough that she said, "You know what? I need to freeze out." um, I told you we got first. We got to start this quarter, man. We got to go ahead and start this quarter, man. This is
All right. We're going to start this quarter. You are watching Eagles Talk. We special edition Eagles Talk because we have a lot to talk about. Doug Pederson is out. He's out as Philadelphia head coach. A lot of people are happy. A lot of people are still angry at Howie. We'll touch on that, but let's take it one step at a time here. Doug Pederson is out. But let's start this quarter here. You're talking the Eagles Talk, number one Eagles coverage show on Facebook. That's by Eagles fans, us, for Eagles fans, you guys. So we're going to be talking with you guys throughout this show here. We like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots at the beginning of each quarter. All right, so tonight I'm partaking in the Patron Silver. Look, I just want to hurry up and get this shot over so I can talk about this. This is a lot. I mean, this is like Christmas for me. All right,
yeah.
here we go. So I'm drinking the Patron
Great.
Silver.
I don't care what you're drinking.
All right, what are you drinking out there, Pat? What are you drinking?
My Uncle Nearest and my little
Uncle
sniffer.
Nearest.
Yes, gotta
All
have.
right, okay. Uncle Nearest Patron down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the
Uncle Nearest whiskey,
Yes.
premium whiskey, actually. Whew.
Uh, all right, a lot of people out there. Let me go to first person in the room was Fred. He says, bruh, I'm only going to do like the first 4 or 5 because I want to get right to the meat of the subject here. So what's news? Tony Byrne was second. B was third. And your wife was fourth. And John was fifth. It was Doug or Wentz. Doug was cheaper way to go. Jeff ain't taking that cap hit.
All
Yeah,
right.
I feel like it came down to that too.
You
So I think we have Michelle back.
got
I'll go to
gangrene on the thumb. You end up cutting the index finger off. Howie Roseman thumb with gangrene, and you cut the index finger off because you say you want it's easier to get to. That makes absolutely no sense. I mean, I understand it needed to happen. It did need to happen. Don't get me wrong, but for the past 5 years, you had a GM who made you had one good season when he made some good calls, some good contracts, and brought in some good guys to help us get to and achieve the ultimate goal. But besides that year, you have missed big time. And during
Wait, hold on. Can I get back? Let me rein you
the
in.
thumb,
Let,
and you cut the finger off.
let me ask you. All right, so you are not in agreement with Doug Peterson being let go?
I'm a little indifferent. Like I did rant on Doug Peterson. If he wasn't going to change his ways, if he wasn't going to go out there and get an offensive coordinator, I think me and Michelle said that numerous times, especially since we started to have her on, that if he wasn't willing to have an actual offensive coordinator come in here, he needs to be fired. I don't
And
disagree
he
about it.
wasn't.
I don't disagree about
Report
it.
said
He was going to get somebody
reports.
from inside the organization. I didn't want that. We didn't want that. We needed somebody from
Okay, well
outside the
then
organization.
that's what he was doing. He was not changing. You said he needed to
They
change.
sabotaged this man.
He was
They
not
sabotaged.
changing. He was going to promote his quarterbacks coach to the OC. That was not changing.
That I don't agree with. That I have to agree
Nothing
with
was
you on that.
going
I
to
don't agree
change
with that.
about that. So if that was your criteria, he met it. He met it for you. You said only way if Doug changes and brings the outside OC in here, and a part of his proposed plan to correct what's going on was promote the quarterbacks coach. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't like that. Like I said, it had to be somebody from outside. Like me and Michelle said this numerous times. It had to be a experienced offensive coordinator who can actually tell Doug, shut up. We're not gonna do this play. We're gonna go ahead and do this one. But you know what? It is what it is. You know, he's gone, and the search starts.
And that wasn't the only suggestion. He didn't want to bring in an outside DC. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I did.
It's
All right, go
almost
ahead.
like he tried to get fired.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
How do
it
you
seems
feel?
like, well,
Are
I
you on
see.
board with this or what?
I mean, obviously, we talk about relationships not being able to be repaired. This clearly was one of them, because now there's more reports coming out that he's been happy since last year, and he's tired of people telling him what to do, and maybe he doesn't have the autonomy as a coach to call the shots for the personnel and people he wants to bring around. So I mean, maybe this was self-sabotage so he can just easily exit. Who knows? I mean, I can't see after the season we had Doug seriously considering doing all these positions that we need after winning a Super Bowl from within and thinking that was going to fly. He cannot be that out of touch with what's happening. But at the same time, Howie, once again, Teflon Don. He
got
getting
something
off
on somebody,
scot-free. He getting
he
off
got
scot-free.
You know something
I
about
told
somebody.
y'all. I'm a ride with that, but
He
I
got
told
Lori
y'all.
tapes or something.
I
Something.
told, oh man, but look. I'm gonna ride this because this needed to happen too. Now, Howie needs to happen too. But I told you, like when I likened it to a gangster movie, you got to kill Howie. See, y'all didn't kill Howie.
Right.
Howie's
You're
still
right.
living.
You're right.
I
You're right.
told you had
You're
to,
right.
but he still lives today. So kudos to him, yo, because it's a dog eat dog out here in this football world.
And
you wanna
I
get
told you it
bumped.
was going to be Carson or Doug. I told you the two could not exist here. It's either Doug was going to go or Carson was going to go.
So
And
they
now here
poked
we
Doug.
are.
So
They
Carson
poked
is
Doug
staying
in the
in
back
there,
of the
man.
head, and Doug is out of here. So Doug will not be returning
So,
next
this
season.
is a scene from the Goodfellas, huh? He
Yeah.
thought he was about to get made. He walks in there like, oh no, it's an empty room.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Basically.
He
There's
definitely thought
nothing we
he was
can
about
do.
to be made with that sorry plan about promoting everyone from within, and that was going to solve the problem.
Listen,
Yeah, he thought.
I do want to say this. Okay, Doug is gone. We all on this show and even talking in our circles, we all at one point was very adamant about getting rid of Doug Peterson because how he approached this season and how failed as a coach he has been this year in particular. But I was watching TV. I came in and I saw part of the interruption with the guys on there. And I know we normally don't talk about other shows on here, but I got heated when Mike Wilburn said this is because he embarrassed the organization in that final game. No. All right.
No,
So, all right.
no,
Doug
No,
Peterson
it has nothing to
has
do
been
with that.
bad this year. It has nothing to do with that
nothing
final
to do
game.
with
It
that.
That was
has
an
nothing to
organizational.
do.
that was an organizational thing that they did to get them in a better position. Listen, if the commentators knew they was gonna put the guy in the game, then most of the people there knew they was gonna put him in the game. The players that wasn't at the game didn't know it because they wasn't privy to the game plan.
And they weren't at practice. And that has nothing to do with it. That's smoke and mirrors. That's a distraction. This has been building for a good 2 seasons at this point. We
Yeah,
all know it. People close to Philly know it. The national media and the New York media may not know, but this has been building. You know what I mean? We knew something drastic was going to change. We didn't know whether it was going to be Doug or Carson or Howie, but we knew one of the big three were going to have to go. So
yeah.
that's been really the issue.
All
I
right, so
think I think Howie's. I mean, I think Doug's going to the Jets. Let me just put it out there right now.
I don't care where you go with this, but I wish him well. But I just my focus now on who they bring in the building. Now this, we understand that Howie's not without any blame in this whole thing, but he
Mm-mm.
escapes. He escapes. You know, he escapes being fired. Let's put it that way. This time around, as a matter of fact, from the way Lori spoke, he's still solid with the organization. How he's going
I
nowhere.
can't
So
believe that,
But
man.
we're
Philly
going to see.
media made him, they challenged him on Howie
Yeah,
and his picks.
they did.
They
Right.
challenged him on Howie and his picks. I mean, he slithered through that one, but still,
Yeah.
nobody's going to let it go in and around this city. Eagles Nation is not going to let go of the fact that Howie's still standing after these dismal draft picks and the lack of player development. It was, and I hate to take away from our Super Bowl, but at the same time, we were supposed to be in a development period. So we lucked out. We won the Super Bowl. Good for us. The football gods were with us that year. But at the same time, we totally ignored the fact that we were in a development season at
Well,
all
I
because we
think
won the Super Bowl. So now the reality check is we should have been developing players and we haven't been under Howie.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. Now this is my take. Exactly. We won the Super Bowl ahead of schedule. We were in a
Mhm.
developmental but winning the Super Bowl threw us in a different trajectory. Now we have to, since we're at the top of the mountain, we have to stay there and take advantage of the little window we have. So, although the Super Bowl accelerated the process there, we were supposed to be developing young talent. But hey, guess what? Second year, we win the Super Bowl. Now we need to do what we need to do to stay at the top and continue to go and have deep runs in the playoffs. So they kind of sacrifice and went not a different direction, but bringing in veterans, more veterans instead of developing younger talent. We
yeah.
were we were in the middle of the process. We got to the top of the mountain a lot quicker than we thought it was going to take.
I'm just listen, man. How does Howie Roseman get away from this? Even in the press conference, I need to get the transcript from Howie Roseman talking in his presser about when the question was asked, how is Howie Roseman safe? Where are you at with evaluating Howie Roseman on his behalf? And he said some good things, and he also went back and harped on the draft. He talked about you missing some players, we can't miss on players. Like,
Well, I think I'm sorry to interrupt. I think that was directly speaking to the fact that he's aware that Howie has not
Mhm.
been
but you know what?
productive in the draft, and I
Uh,
like that. I like the fact that he is aware of it because that may be why John Dorsey is in the building in the first place to
no,
take more of the load and have a little bit more control over this upcoming draft here. So as long as that's in place, I'm okay with that. We're not happy. We just want to take Howie away from the talent evaluating side
yeah.
of the equation there. Do the contracts, make the trades or whatever, but you're not the greatest talent evaluator. We got a good one in the building. Let him do
Mhm.
what he do.
Yeah.
I think if you take apart that Jeffrey Lurie, what he said about the talent, I think we, unbeknownst to us, I think Doug Peterson was actually in charge of the draft in some aspects of it.
What?
If you go back and listen to what he was saying, no, seriously. If you go back and listen to what he's saying, deconstruct what he was saying, you know what? I'm
How many
starting to
shots you had, man?
He may have had a say, but he didn't have the final say. And they talked about that on Marks and Reese. Doug may have had a say, but I don't think he had the last word.
Nah, I was just drinking too much. I'm messing with you.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
like,
Take
what?
some from me since I'm not drinking this month, but still, I mean, it's the Howie and the talent evaluation is now we've gone from the Doug Carson Wentz elephant in the room. We know who's left standing out of that. Now we have to go through what is Lurie going to do to address the pitchforks that are going on in the city for Howie, because all this did was shine a light on the fact that people have issue with Howie's talent evaluation and draft picks. Now that's going to be front and center
All
right now.
All he has to do is push Howie to the back of the NovaCare Center and say you just work on contracts and put John Dorsey in front. Even though I'm not a big fan of John Dorsey, he does know how to develop talent and bring good players into the organizations, because he have done it for Andy Reid. He did it for Cleveland, who just blew out Pittsburgh yesterday. So, I mean,
Well, first let's end this quarter here. End this quarter.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you're listening to Eagles Talk by Eagles fans, us for Eagles fans, you. We like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots as we do so. So I am doing the Patron Tequila Silver again, and Pat is doing the
Uncle Nearest
Nearest.
1856 premium whiskey, which is 100 proof, and is as you can see.
Oh, there you go. That explains.
That's
a
why
lot.
he's talking all crazy.
That was.
I haven't
crazy.
opened this in a while, and it's like real potent.
All right, let me know what you guys are drinking out there. To Doug Pederson, man. May he have a lot of success wherever he winds up. And thank you for our Super Bowl, Doug. We appreciate it. Down the hatch, 3, 2, 1. Start that second quarter.
You're now listening to the second quarter.
Yeah, all right, so here's the situation, right? Here's the situation. So now, because now we got to think about, we don't need to dwell on the fact that Howie's still here, because he's still here. All right, so the quicker we get in touch with that, the quicker we can move ahead. He's going to still be here. So you can complain all you want, but we've got to move ahead. And our next big task is finding another coach. And what can ill afford, or this is not an attractive job to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. With all the vacancies that are out there, this is not a situation that most coaches are clamoring to get to. Like, oh, I want to go and be in that mess. I know, what I mean? They hear what's going on with Doug Pederson, Howie Roseman. No one is going to be knocking down the door to come here. So
why not?
Because of the whole Howie thing, and not what Doug's going through.
I suggest this, Howie and Jeff, when you are looking for a coach, that you allow this coach to have full autonomy over his staff. I think that needs to be made clear. I don't think you get a quality candidate without that being on the table. As a matter of fact, any strong candidate is going to ask about that.
Oh, they're going to mandate it. They're going to mandate it. Yeah, they are. So any good candidate is going to want to nip that whole Howie controlling the draft and those picks in the bud. Or we're not going to get a good candidate. We're going to get a placeholder. And if that's the case, you might as well promote Deuce or somebody to head coach.
Yeah, I think you got first look at Deuce. Deuce has to be the first interview in the building and the second interview in the building. I understand that you might be looking at the name Lincoln Riley was brought up, Eric Bieniemy, all those things was brought up, which is great. But Deuce has been in this organization for well over 11 years, even longer than that as a player. He's been, he needs that. He needs to be interviewed first on this position.
but does Deuce want it? Would I want it as Deuce? You know about this. You know about,
That's true. He
you
know.
know
He
what I mean?
would
He
know.
knows already. And who wants their first job to be under, where they don't have any autonomy over their staff? Who wants that?
True,
Who wants that?
true. I
Does
need to have
Deuce really want to
autonomy
be
over
in
the
that mess? That's what I ask. Does Deuce
Mhm.
really want to be the head of this mess?
probably not.
No, no, no. If I
Probably
was
not.
Deuce, I would rather go somewhere else to get a shot, not under this. If those are going to be the conditions, and I think if they promote Deuce to head coach, they'll be expecting to be able to pull the same strings they did with Doug, and I wouldn't want to be a head coach under that. But
Yeah, man.
that's what's making this job not attractive. That's going to be one of the things they're going to be looking for. Not only are they going to lose candidates, but it's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Listen, whoever you hire as head coach need to have the ability to hire his own staff, bring in their own guys, and be able to be the voice in the room when it comes to picking their players in the draft and in free agency. They need to be
Mhm.
able to put together their team and have their vision on imprinted on a team. You can't just sit there and do what happened to Doug and be, the guy sitting in the seat just say, "I'm here as the coach." No, you gotta be able to have your imprint on this team. And the only way you can do that is by relegating Howie Roseman to the back of the room and having whoever you bring in as head coach, at the front of the class with the new GM, which is John Dorsey, who's going to be the guy picking the players, I guess, saying, "I want this player, I want that player, go after this guy. What can we do with this? Can we get rid of this player?" Because that makes you a head coach, right? I'm assuming that makes you a head coach.
Right, right. Dion says the same thing. And that's why I do not want Deuce to be the head coach. He's not going to have full power over his staff or draft picks. It's not fair to him. I don't think anybody's coming in here who's not going to have full autonomy over their own staff.
Mhm.
And I think it's a mistake for Howie to even ask or consider it with bringing in a head coach. That's where you made your mistake here. That's why this is a shambles of a squad now. But hopefully, wipe clean house, coaches out there, because a part of that development process was developing young talent, and I thought that was totally lost with this past coaching staff. There was a point in the Super Bowl year where we had great position coaches. I mean, coaches that developed the talent in their group. We had
Mhm.
Deuce. Deuce has always been good, but at
He's a
that
great
year we
running back
had
coach.
Mike Groh. Mike Groh sucked as an OC, but he was an
Mhm.
excellent wide receiver coach. He was the wide receiver coach when Alshon Jeffrey had his career year in Chicago. He was also the wide receiver coach for Kenny Stills when he had his career year. He developed wide receivers. We had him on staff. We had D. Filippo, who was instrumental in getting Carson Wentz to the level he played during the
Mhm.
2017 season. We had great position coaches, and they developed the talent, and that contributed mightily to what happened in 2017. But guess what? Since then, they've walked out the building. We've had some young talent coming in here, and some young talent that we gave up on, and maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was the fact that we didn't have good talent developers at that time. Sidney Jones is playing good elsewhere. Ron Darby is playing good elsewhere. We had these people on our team, and I don't think they had the appropriate coaching to move them to the next level. Although I do like this wide receivers coach we have this year. I
Yeah, I
like him.
think I think our wide receivers coach he could stay. He needs to develop these guys a little bit better. I think the offensive philosophy needs to change. But I saw out there somebody say get a defensive minded coach. Jeffrey Lurie during his press conference said he's an offensive guy. He wants
Yeah.
points. So that speaks volumes. So he's going to definitely
Mhm.
not pick a guy that's there for defense. I mean, he's going to pick an offensive coordinator. I mean, a head coach that's about the offense who can go out there and score points. So you're going to have an offensive minded coach.
All right, let me just read this. Yendor says, I think we go defensive minded coach and get a young, fresh creative OC that will call the offense like a Mike Kafka. I actually like Mike Kafka.
Mike Kafka, you remember that guy?
Yeah,
He
but
was like a
he's doing well
Corey
on
Detmer.
Kansas City now.
Yes, he is. He is.
Quarterback coach, and he's in that room, and Kansas City's offense is great,
It's fire.
innovative,
Yeah.
it's fire. You know what I mean? So if we could possibly bring him in as an OC, yeah, I'll be on that. Uh, Lefton says you're right. Carlson's footwork is horrible now because of bad coaching. Yeah, the developers, the talented developers, left the building at one point, and we didn't replace them. So I mean, we got
Yeah.
some young talent that we're down on, but who knows with a new coaching staff and coming in here, bringing in new position coaches. Who knows what can be done with the young talent we already have? I'm not down. I'm kind of high on our young wide receivers. I think they could be developed. I think they show enough promise or potential that if coached the right way, they can develop into some nice receivers.
I've
Yes, they
said that
can.
all season.
Mhm.
That's why I was on Pat about trying to pick another receiver. How about we get a coach to develop the talent we have? You know, seriously, we
Offense, offense,
those wide receivers have high upsides, huge potential, and if they had the right coach, any one of them could break out, be a breakout player.
Yeah,
Seriously,
yeah, I'm saying
Yeah.
right. You're
they
100%
all
right.
have Pro Bowl potential. We just don't have a coach that can coach them to that level.
Except J Jaw.
Yeah,
Well,
look,
yeah,
Brian
I
Rogers is
don't
giving a
count
couple
my group.
examples. He says Trey Burton, Sidney Jones, Rasul Douglas, Nigel Bradham, just to name a few. These are people that we had. L.J. Fort, that was another one. These are people we had in our
Why are we talking
building.
about Trey
And
Burton? Trey Burton has done nothing since he left here. If
Trey
we have
Burton is a nice tight end. I mean, he's been
he
doing
has
okay on the teams he's gone.
him his all right. Compare his stat with Dallas Goddard stats. Since you want to compare stats, Dallas Goddard is a way better tight end than Trey Burton. He has done more. He's been even though he's been injured. He's actually been healthier more times than Trey Burton. Sidney Jones, yes, all right. He was our breakout player this year, and he got cut. He went to the Jacksonville. Jacksonville wasn't too good, but he did okay. You did get beat a lot. All right, that's the same thing that happened here. Same thing with Ronald Darby. People say Ronald Darby went to Washington. Well, what happened in the playoff game? He got exposed. Nigel Bradham, he got cut from the Saints. He went to another team. I don't even know what team he's on. Then we want to talk about Michael Kendrick. I see Michael Kendrick's up there. Michael Kendrick, he was arrested and he went to the Washington football team.
No,
All right,
you
Russell
could come
Douglas.
at it, but
Let me
Will
finish
Darby
this,
did. I
Let me
mean,
finish
Darby
this.
did okay.
Let me finish this, man. Rasul Douglas went to the freaking Carolina Panthers, all right? He did well. He did good in the first half of the season. And everybody realized, you know what? We could beat him with speed and beat him with double moves. Jerry Jeudy made him go to the sideline, all right? Now, the only player that say out of that list that we missed on was LJ Ford. LJ Ford is a heck of a linebacker that we did definitely miss on. And Michael Jenkins, he should still be here.
All right, so that's the end of the second quarter. Let's move on in the score.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, so we are here, Eagles Talk, talking
Had to
about
drink some water
Doug
on that one.
Pederson out as head coach, and the head coaching search begins now. You are watching Eagles Talk Facebook, #1 group on Facebook that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. We talk about our favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we drink. I'm not drinking anymore, but
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm done now. But so let's just start this second quarter and continue this conversation on. Third quarter. I'm sorry.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
And continue this discussion on the fact that we are in a search for a new head coach. There are candidates out there. What would be your preference if you were in conducting the interviews? Nichelle, starting with you. What a defensive-minded coach, a young offensive-minded, what would be your preference if you were in that interview room?
I would look for someone that had a balance and look for that high-powered OC to get that offense that Lori wants. A couple people threw around, folks like Eric Bieniemy, the Todd Bowles of the world. because he did have a good run at the Jets before, he was let go. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot out there right now. What is it? 8 teams looking for a head coach, and we need a head coach, a OC, and a DC. I'm just exhausted thinking about the search for that because you have to plug the hole in head coach before you go get that OC and DC. Now before we went from getting an OC to see if Carson would stay to you got to get a whole ass head coach to
Right.
figure out if he's going to stay, because we're not going to get the answer on Carson staying or going until we get a head coach. Until we get a head coach, until we get an OC, and he sees what that head coach is all about, because he's not going to just jump this big paycheck right now. That's for sure.
So, Pat, I pose the same question to you. What's your preference in our next head coach and coaching
uh,
staff?
Jeremy T put it. Are you a turtle? Actually, Jeremy, I'm not. I missed that one. But to be all serious about our coaching program, I listen. I'm an office guy, so I want us to be office of mind. I want us to go get a guy, get the office call, head coach that can put his staff together that has the innovative style for this game. Lincoln Riley, Eric beating me. I mean, as much as I really love Deuce Staley to be that head coach, I think he loves being a running backs coach. I think he loves taking undrafted guys and turning them into something that they could be special on a team. I don't think he wants that responsibility. I might be wrong. He may want that responsibility, but I definitely see us going after somebody that's offensive minded and appealing to our owners. His side. The owner wants a. The owner, y'all keeping this up, Christopher Burton. Uh, I missed that one, guys. All right, I missed that one. I think the owner wants to offer the offensive minded head coach. He wants points. He likes points. He even mentioned it today. He's like, I think he was like 31 in offense. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like being, we can't score points. I understand that we want somebody to, in this organization that's defensive minded, so we can put, defense first. But if the owner comes out and say, you know what, I want us to score points, that means he's going to get somebody that's offensive minded, maybe innovative to help him in his search. And sorry for my nobles and my Masonic brothers out there. I am not a turtle. Sorry.
All right. Well, reptiles and stuff aside. Okay. So, all right. So look. So he has expressed that. I think was he here for the hire of Ray Rhodes? He was a
Yeah,
Yes, he
part of
but
it.
was.
they talked.
Yes.
So they talked
Yes.
about him actually looking at a coach of color, a quote unquote minority coach.
Mhm.
All right. That
But
that was
he talked about that. He talked about hiring Ray Rhodes and how proud he was to be a team that early on had a coach of color. So he says that is a high priority as they look at this next HC job, is getting that piece for a person of color. I don't want to say minority, because to me minority makes it seem like it's less than or it's smaller. It's not smaller. It's just a person of color. So
right.
they are giving some weight to this person having
Yes.
a diverse background as a coach. He emphasized that in the press conference today.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. And the point I was getting to was, as far as offensive, defensive minded, he did mention in his press conference that he does like that. But he was the owner when they hired Ray Rose. Meaning, I'm only bringing that up to say that he's not been only open to offensive minded coaches. He hired a Ray Rose who was a defensive
Hmm.
minded coach. So, can he achieve the exciting, innovative offensive team that he likes with a defensive minded coach? Yes, it's very, very possible.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
very, very possible for that head coach to hire one of the young minds and give them time. Now a head OC job under a defensive minded coach is a dream, because you have full autonomy over the offense. That defensive minded coach is not going to walk into your room and try to give you schemes. So that would be a very attractive job to a
Facts.
young offensive mind, to have a defensive minded coach as a head coach. I'm going to run his offense and he's going to leave me alone. I can call my own plays. So don't discount that factor either. So I don't think Jeffrey Lurie cares how he gets to an explosive offense as long as he gets there.
He's going to. He really. These comments got me going crazy.
What?
He's going to get off because they said I drink like a turtle, but I'm not. The thing is, he's going to get an offensive minded coach. He's going to get a guy that's going to be straightforward with him. Say, listen, this is what I need. This is what I want. Um, is it Eric Bieniemy? Is it Lincoln Riley? Is it another coach we not even think of
Mike
right now?
Kafka.
Mike
You
Kafka,
hire a defensive minded coach
even
and
Jim
go get Mike
Cotwell,
Kafka.
even Jim Cotwell. He's another offensive minded coach. I
Yeah,
mean,
true, true.
there are some quality hit guys out there that are experienced in this league. There are some guys out there that is waiting their shot for the NFL. So this thing is not going to be done within a week. I mean, we might find it done in a week, but I don't think it's going to be done in a week.
Well, I think that
Mm.
this is where, although it's not a race, it is sort of a race. I mean,
Yeah,
there's 8 positions, there's 8
Yeah,
coaching
man.
jobs out there. So not only do those 8 head coaching spots have to be filled, but then their whole staff has to be filled. So then you start losing out to the next hot OC if you're a defensive minded coach. You know what I mean? Like, so there has to be a priority with getting a coach kind of quicker rather than later.
yeah.
I mean, you got to. You got
Yeah,
to.
Yeah.
Well, there's not
They
going to be
don't. They
any more
time
time.
is out. The time is running out. Period.
yeah. Listen,
For them.
Michelle, you're 100% right because you got to understand something. The national championship game is tonight, and now the national championship, you got 5 to 6 players that's going to be drafted in the first round. So you need that. Not only do you need that coach in place, you need that talent evaluator to give that information to the coaching staff, to his coaching staff, so they can make the right judgment when it comes to draft day. Listen, I might say I want a Devontae Smith or a Jamar Chase or even a Jalen Waddle at wide receiver, but there's some talented guys that's coming out in this draft that we need our recruits giving the right information to the coaches that are in place so those decisions can be made properly so we don't miss on a DK Metcalf. We don't miss on a Devontae Adams because we missed on a Devontae Adams. We got Jordan Matthews instead of Devontae Adams. I mean, so we don't miss on these type of players going forward.
Absolutely.
Well,
And we might as well just start playing As the World Turn or All My Children music every week because this is going to be nothing but a soap opera until we
Yeah,
get a head coach, until we get an OC, until we figure out if Carson is staying or going. We've been in soap opera territory. So every week is going to be some level of drama around what this team is going to look like after we get a new head coach, OC, and DC. That's a tall task that Lurie has in front of him, and there's already blood in the water in in the fan and Eagle fan nation right now for Howie. So they have some big holes to fill, and I don't envy them one bit
I do
right
want to
and
say
now.
this.
but like the owner said, this is going to be a mid to long term process with some hope of short term success. I mean, we're always striving to win, so short term success is going to always be in the picture. But he used those terms specifically, midterm to long term projection here. It's a project. It's not going to turn over overnight. This is not going to happen overnight. So hopefully he does have better talent evaluators in the building because I think we have a couple of draft picks coming up. We got a healthy amount of draft picks coming up in this next draft. So we need to start building this roster with youth. And a guy like John Dorsey in the building gives me hope that maybe we'll fare better than we have in recent history when Howie ran the draft. Let's put it that way.
I like that. You gotta go
You,
to
you
FBA's comment.
how he's gonna
FBA's.
be HCOC water boy.
Yeah, just take over.
Facts,
CCC
facts.
water
But you
boy.
know what? You know what Lori also has to think about, y'all. We're in a pandemic. There was
Mhm.
already money lost.
Yeah.
So as we look forward to getting out of this and getting back into the stadium, how are you going to get your fans back when you have the lowest fan rating in the NFL right now, which is the Eagles? We are in the
Right.
top 5, and we have the lowest fan rating. So if you want people buying merch and putting butts in them stands, once we get post pandemic and we're out and about and our social distancing at the game, you're going to have to put a product together that people are going to want to spend their money and start coming out for. And that's something he has to think about because everybody's already in the red because of the pandemic. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do to get your fans, excited about coming back into the stadium? Other than the fact that they get to go somewhere. But what kind of product is he gonna put out? And that's gonna rest a lot on these next couple days and these next couple of weeks as he builds his coaching staff.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
next coaching staff is going to be vital on just that. Um, appealing to the fans, giving us some hope in the situation that you guys are definitely moving in the right direction. So it's going to be very crucial on who they select as their next head coach. It's very, very, very. And then that head coach has got to mend that with Carson Wentz to the club. There's a lot that goes into this head coach and this next OC and all that if everything's going to play. But you know what? Although he didn't rule out Carson Wentz, he didn't give Carson Wentz a solid um, 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 vote of confidence there. He didn't. He talked about him being important, but he didn't name him the next quarterback or the quarterback of the future. But he did.
Mhm.
He kind of did lean towards Carlson being a good player and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
he
he's
didn't
gonna be
give a
here.
big vote of confidence. That's what I'm saying.
He's still gonna be here because
Yeah.
I don't think this owner wants to waste $33 million just to be just be sending him somewhere else and he got to write a check for $33 million and it's not going to help this team. So he either is going to be here and play, and I think they might end up trading Jalen Hurts. Um, but one way or other, I
No, they
believe
don't
it's
have to
going to be.
trade anybody
They don't
now.
have to trade anybody. I believe it's going to be a
No,
quarterback
they don't.
competition, and it should be a competition next year.
It should be a competition with Carson Wentz. Like I said, I don't think Jalen Hurts did enough for me to say that he's the future franchise
Yeah,
quarterback
I
of that
mean,
team.
he's going to be a strong backup, and I would be
Yeah,
happy to have him be our backup. Again, developing players. One thing they also talked about today on WIP is how we're impatient. Are we, as the Philly media and fan base, do we even have the patience to watch a team develop their players and develop a system and to put things in place for the long run? Because soon as things don't go our way, we only tolerate a season or two of not winning in
Yeah,
right.
Philly.
yeah,
Let's
we
be
go
real.
crazy.
We don't have the patience, and
We
the
do
Super
not.
Bowl was a double-edged sword for us. Like, we won the Super Bowl. It was past our time, but at the same time, to Dante's point, we kind of won that a year we weren't even prepared to win the Super Bowl, if you
Definitely,
Yeah, we
really, really think about it. So,
definitely.
I
we were.
mean,
But we
just
deserved
the
it. Right? We
environment,
deserved
we
it.
deserve it. Yeah, we totally deserved it. But the environment of coaching and playing in Philly does not yield for patience.
No, not at all.
So I'm not shocked that these past few years since Andy Reid, we've been on this coaching carousel because, but we had patience there because we knew we were winning the NFC East like almost every year with Andy Reid. It was just a
Yeah,
matter of who we
yeah,
was going to see in postseason. That was just a given to us.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so when we don't have that consistency, you in Philly, you have to at least be first, second round playoffs every single year before people will not call for your head. And that's not what we've had with the past couple of coaches.
Yeah,
Let
you're
me
right. And then
let
we're
me end this
trying to
quarter.
return to that, man. So they need to make, Howie needs to let up. We need to understand if you want to copy a situation, copy that situation where we hired a Andy Reid and you gave him control over his staff and things like that. We need to get back to that day. That was the most successful time in Eagles history, save for winning
Mm-hmm.
the Super Bowl. That stretch of Andy Reid's career was the most successful stretch of Eagles football. And to return to that, you need to allow a coach to be a damn coach, so to speak. Allow a
Yeah, you're
coach to
right.
be a damn
That's
coach
true.
and,
Facts.
and, and have autonomy over his staff and not try to you know cut his nuts off like he did with Doug Peterson. I'm sorry to get so graphic, but that's what happened. Doug didn't have no nuts. He had no nuts, guys. I mean, I'm not I'm
You're
being
right. No, you're
facetious, but
right.
they
You're
cut him
right.
off. They neutered him, and it wasn't going to work. So this, like I said before, Doug, it's not you, it's us. It's us, Doug. You
Yeah.
need this also. We both need to we're not good together anymore. So you need to go and find that situation that works for you because there's a situation out there where they're going to allow you to be a coach out there and hire your staff and go along with what your vision is. But it's not here. Not under the circumstances in which you were hired
Mhm.
when they hired half of your staff before you got here. You understood when you got here that you wasn't going to have full autonomy and you took the job. And we're grateful because you brought us a Super Bowl. But go out there and get a real job now, Doug. You earned it. You got a Super Bowl ring. Go
He
get a
will.
real job where they respect you. And then Howie, you hire a real coach down here and stop trying to neuter him. Don't neuter the guy. Allow him to do what he has to do.
Yeah. Well, with that being
Keith
said,
brings up that we had 3 years under Doug, but at the same time, our division is way more trash than it was under Andy Reid. We were way more our division was way more competitive during the Reid years. So
Yeah.
I think the feat of doing back to back NFC East titles then had a lot more weight than it does now. Because I mean, look at our division. Let's be real. It shouldn't be that hard to win the division. If you don't, it's a problem.
Yeah.
if you don't, you get fired.
If you're not for real, if you're not competing in this division, as horrible as it is, then, then what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like we went for Super Bowl champs, and
Right.
to 3 years after that, we're in a division of teams that are not very good, and we're the last place team. That's not good, dude. That's not good at all.
Well, I mean, let's be real. This is the first time we've been in this position in how many years? I mean, it happens. It happens once in a blue moon. I mean, what they
All
say,
right. Well,
like
we need to get out of this place because us as fans, this is not a place we're used to, not in the last 20 years. So hurry up and get us back to where we're accustomed to being because this was a very painful year for me as a fan to see
definitely
this
was.
team go through and
Hmm.
play the way it did. So I'm looking forward to the Lori and how we bringing in someone in here that is a leader of men and allow him to be a leader of men and assemble his own team and do what he is hired to do, and that's to win football games. Bring somebody in there and let them be a coach. Last time you
Hmm.
let it happen, it was Andy Reid. Last time you successfully let it happen, it was Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dion mentioned Lori kept mentioning we have assets. He did say that. It was funny how he was talking about it like he was, going into battle, the assets that we have. And it was talking about Hertz and Wentz. He knows there's value on the market, and I could see
Yeah.
him looking for a deal, if anything, for Hurts, because I don't think there's going to be an advantageous deal for Wentz. I think they're going to have to try and rebuild that back through getting another head coach that's going to work well with Wentz and getting an OC and getting that staff together. But I mean, a lot of people would love Hurts, and he may come with some draft picks,
Yeah.
or at the same token, we can keep both of them. Because I don't know where Sudfeld's going to be, but
Off
if
the
I had
street,
my right,
out
if
the
I had my
NFL.
way, Jalen would spend another year as backup. We hold on to him behind Wentz to keep Wentz pushing, but having them under a new head coach, I think would be more advantageous for both their careers. I don't think Jalen's ready to step in that position because he hasn't been developed the way he needed to be here. But
Well,
that's just my opinion.
with that being said, it's the national championship game is about to come on. I gotta do some research. Doug is gone. And I promise the guys out there that say that you drink like a turtle, this is to you guys because I'm gonna drink like a
Wow,
turtle.
you're not even gonna make it through the whole national championship game
I
messing
know.
around with the people in the
I know.
comments. So it's a peer
Hey,
pressure.
you know peer pressure is what they say. Peer pressure is a beer.
Yeah, yeah.
But for everybody out there, I do it. So it is what it is. I do. Like I said, we need to go offensive route. We need to go to offensive coach route, offensive minded route. And definitely we need to hire somebody within the next 2 weeks. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Okay.
Cheers.
Take a shot. All right. We're about to get out of here. You heard it here. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to think about. Well, we don't have a lot of say in the matter as fans, but there's a lot on the plate, and we're going to be tuning in precisely to what's going on because we're looking for a new head coach, and we need to find one. And we need to find them kind of quick. And some to get a good one before it's like it's Christmas shopping all over again. We all it's last minute. We don't want to be last minute like we was with Doug. We was last minute when we was with Doug because nobody wanted to take this job.
Other coaches, hold up. Can you imagine us hiring other coaches and me in the situations those teams were in? Like I'm happy we were last with Doug. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well, but now I mean there's. We have an opportunity to get a jump and get one of the better candidates out there if we do our due diligence. So I don't think this is something that we can lag on. We have to be precise and to get a good coach, and we have to to do that. You got to allow the guy to have full autonomy over his staff. So that's what you need to change in hiring the next coach. But anyway, we're still going to be on Thursday. We're going to be on Thursday. Yeah, that's how it is. We don't want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? We want, that. Yeah, and I used to do that. No, I'm only kidding. No, but we gotta get this early. We can't wait to the last minute, and we getting some stuff out the dollar store and wrapping it up. So we gotta be on that. So that's going to be exciting in itself. But we'll be back Thursday to continue to talk about it. We don't know. Somebody said Joe Banner gave a statement saying that he thought that the Eagles already have a guy in mind for the job. So hey, we'll be back on Thursday. Who knows? We might have a coach by Thursday. So tune in on Thursday, 7 p.m., our regular slot, Eagles Talk. We will see you guys then. Go enjoy the college championship game. I'm out. I'm your man, Dante the Dark Knight. For Nichelle, Patrick, we'll see you guys on Thursday. We're out. Peace.
Go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Smash him up, crack that fool. Quarterback crack, yo, sack that fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up, watch that move. Went too swift, can't catch these dudes. Hit him, 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 hit him. Listen. It's Eagles talk high, let's talk Eagles. Philly bleed green, it's from your people. Fly, Eagles fly. Let's peep the squad. Big Pat shelling, Dante the dark job. Drop the stats on them.